Thanks to the folks who led the way. Thanks to the folks, let us thank them every day.
Dorothea Dix lived in the 1800s. She lived to about 85, and she worked most of her life advocating for the mentally ill and for prisoners. She started out as a teacher, but she was really recognized for being a pioneer of nursing and care for those with mental health issues. She really worked hard at it and worked to improve the conditions in the jails, which was kind of unusual in the 1800s. Dorothea had changed her career over from teaching at the age of 39 to focusing more on nursing. She was actually a teacher in a correctional women's facility for many, many years, but realized there was a real need for working with folks with mental health issues. And at that point in the mid-1800s, anybody with mental illness was in the prisons, which she thought was pretty crazy. And she started to advocate for some better facilities for folks that needed extra care and help with their mental health issues, because at that point they were all lying in the filth and without adequate clothes and abused physically and sexually in these prisons. So she figured that she should work towards getting those folks out of those prisons and at the same time helping the prisoners realize a better experience, a better living situation. So for the next few decades of her life, she worked really hard to make better living conditions for both the mentally ill and prisoners at that time. Before she was done with this stage of her life, she established 32 new hospitals across the country, and that really started to relieve some of that situation for folks that were just living in terrible conditions. She probably realized she wasn't going to change the whole world, but she just did what she could do. By the mid-1800s, there were facilities for, quote, the insane and destitute. And it wasn't just across the United States and Canada. There were also 13 other European countries that picked up what she was working towards and started to have some really better facilities for caring for the, quote, mentally ill. She was certainly a woman ahead of her time, and she advocated for the national governments to be involved with mental health. It took a lot of courage to stand up and be the love that she wanted to be. I'm sure she got intimidated a lot of times for what she was working towards. She contributed to the formation of the U.S. Army Nurse Corps during the Civil War. At that time, only male nurses were accepted in the Army nursing duties. But she came in and convinced some of the military officials that women could also do the job perfectly well, and recruited 2,000 women to be part of that nursing force. She kind of had a tough demeanor about herself, and she had a nickname, Dragon Dix, because she was pretty tough sometimes. But she got her job done, and she got respected for it, and was a big contributor to the Union forces during the Civil War. Through that whole time period, somehow she hung on to her hope. She kept it close to her, and she was a social reformer all throughout her life. She was up against some pretty tough problems that most folks would have said, oh, don't waste your time trying to fix that. She did, and she did fix a lot of it, and she contributed so much to the efforts to socially reform the care of the mentally ill and destitute and prisoners during the mid-1800s. She certainly deserves to be one of the stars of my Inspirational Lives theme shows.
Thanks to the folks who led the way. Thanks to the folks, let us thank them every day.